Matter. I want you to do both. All right, so spiral starting in and going this way. You can spiral and go the other direction. You know, alternate. Start from the outside, spiral in. Start from the outside, spiral in. And this is just almost mind-numbing, therapeutic. How y'all feel about that? Okay, so I'm going to show you what I'm going to do. I just want you to watch, and then I'm going to do it with you. Okay? All right. If I want to do I call it a scroll, rolled up, crunched paper, and I'm going to see if I can shift to my pencil. Here's my little box. Let's see if this even shows up. All right, so I'm going to scroll, start a spiral from the inside out. Then I'm going to come back over here, kind of back this up and do the outside in. And then I'm going to go to the very top of this. If I went any higher, I'd be off my scroll. And I'm going to do a straight line to the right. And I'm going to see how wide that is. Sometimes I measure with the width of my pencil. Sometimes I can do it with my fingers. Okay? So I want that same width. So I'm going to come down here and kind of measure it there. You can double check. If you're not sure there, you can lay your pencil down and see how this one's a little longer. That's close enough. And at the very bottom. Okay, remember when we did our mug? It was a rounded spiral, a cylinder. So if I turn this way, this is similar to what we had our mug. So if I have this curve here, I'm going to have this curve here because the paper is the same width and it's going to curve. This is the one that causes the most trouble, but if you think about, I call this thinking lines. A think line, the paper is as wide as it is on both sides, like toilet paper, so the same width all the way around. And if I'm going to drag, this is going to be my guide, and this is going to be my think line. So I follow this, and it shows me where I want to draw over here. Are y'all seeing that? Mm-hmm. Okay, so now that I've done my think line, I'm going to follow it, and it comes back up underneath there. Then in order to create the illusion of paper spiraling in here, I do the same thing I did to the top and bottom of these spirals. I went to the very, very, very top. I'm going to go to the very, very, very top. If it's any higher, I'd be off. And this time I'm going to go to the right, but I'm going to stop when I hit something. I'm going to go to the very bottom. I'm going to go to the right. I'm going to stop when I hit something. I'm going to go to the top. I'm going to go to the bottom. I'm going to go to the top. I'm going to go to the bottom. And this one ends up like that. So this gives you the illusion of paper spiraling within itself. And it's just made with straight lines and curved lines. Straight line and curved line. So now I want you to try. So you're going to start, first of all, make sure that you have space to the right to create the width of your scroll. I'm going to, don't want to. All right, so I'm going to start to the right. I'm going to start by spiraling from the inside out. You can do however many spirals you want. Just make sure you have space between them. And as it comes down, you're going to back up to kind of line up over here. Start wide and come around to the inside.
Place it with me in circles.
Once you have a spiral that is, where the spaces are decent, then you decide how wide you want your, good. Yep, keep going. Yep, keep going, you're good. That's a nice one. Yeah, now start with how wide you want your scroll to be. And you draw 3 lines. Top, and you go to the bottom one and draw 2. One from the top and bottom of each. And then you compare the curve. This curve right here has to match this curve right here. See, that's why. This curve right here, that you could do another think line like this. Once you have your think line down, curve that. This is a think line. Curve around this way. And you think that a lot of times you're going to think this is wrong, right here. A lot of students will do this. They'll pull it back out this way. See if you did that. If you didn't do that, then yay. Because it tucks back behind. And I think the coolest part is when you then go to the top and bottom of every curve that you created and go toward your scroll to create the illusion of those lines inside each other. And then later, when we practice shading and other things, you can even create treasure maps. You can erase a line, break up part of what you got. I'm going to make this look kind of old and rugged. So I'm taking away some of it and extending the lines in, and then I'll be shading some. You shade the part that doesn't get the light. So I'm going to be way dark under in here. It'd be a little shaded in here. It'd be really dark under here. There would be a shadow cast from the outside onto the one below. Anytime you have 2 shadows that are together, you want to have a different color. See, like this one needs to be different color than this one, or a different value. And we're going to get to that. I'm just going to show you where this will go. But by all the line drawings that we do, the first few weeks, you can come back later, redraw them or retrace them, and add little bits of shadow and shading. See how the difference? Now I have dimension. Now I have some depth because of where the shadows were. And this is just a number 2 pencil that I'm working with, and I'm all about using some basic tools, and then I'll show you some other of my favorite tools. If you ordered some of the things that were the recommended, there was one that's just a very thick black. It's like black charcoal, but if I want, the thing about graphite will only be gray, and I can get a really dark soft leaded pencil that might be an 8B, and I can get a really, really dark, but I'm not going to get a black. So if I want a black, a real dark shadow, then I want to use that other pencil. So show you a couple examples real quick. Dig them out. Okay, for example, this guy right here.
Oh, wow.
This I did as a demo. Oh, I can't change my up and down in the video, sorry. This was a demo of a grid drawing for my 8th grade advanced art class. And I had a little boy that I gridded off, and this was a 2-inch grid. And after I did this, then I took another class that it introduced me to that dark black. So if I tilt, I don't know if you'll be able to see it. If I tilt this, can you see where the black is and where the gray?
In the background or the shadows?
Right in here in his eye. Anyway, it's a different sheen. You can get this black without a shine. When you want really dark with drawing, that's when you shift to charcoal. Because if you get really dark with pencil, it's going to give a shine to it. And there's nothing wrong with that, but it will never get black. So I went back and added, I'll pass this around because you can see it better in person. When you tilt it, you can see that where I've added the darker darks. And if I had known that before I drew that, I would have not done the darkest darks in pencil. All right, see, like here's the small version. So I was showing the kids using a grid. Using a grid, you can draw the same thing big or small. And it'll allow you to be accurate. So they did some awesome work, so it's cool.
Can you imagine an 8th grader doing something like that?
Oh, remind me to show you, well, while y'all, let me see if I can pull it up on my phone. What I did yesterday on my website is I activated a page that I normally don't keep activated. And eraser is a lot of the hair. You draw with an eraser too.
The hair is magical.
Thank you. Eyes are my favorite.
Oh, mine too. You'll have to go. Has Gail shown you her paintings before you leave? Show her your gorilla before you leave. I love your paintings. Wow.
But, you know, by adding the shading and all the value and stuff, that will add so much more to your work. But again, if we don't get the lines right, then it's going to be frustrating to go there. So, so I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time. Okay, I'm going to stop the video for a second. All right.